Welcome, yogi friends. My name is Erin, and this is an on-demand recording to replace my live class for Wednesday, February 10th. So my theme of the week this week, we're working on Salamba Sarvangasana, shoulder stand. So that's where we're heading today. If you have a blanket, a thick blanket of some kind, that'll be helpful for our shoulder stand work. And it doesn't have to be a yoga blanket. And then any other props with which you normally practice, straps or belts. Take a moment here to find your comfortable seat. We'll begin sitting tall. Option for Sukhasana, one leg crossed in front of the other. Or maybe if you're working toward Ardha Padmasana, half lotus, pulling one heel toward the opposite hip crease, and then rotating the sole of your foot up as you let your hip open out. Finding your comfortable seat, and then drawing the shoulders lightly down and back, stacking shoulders over hips, and feeling the core and back muscles turn on just a bit to help you sit tall. From here, shut down the eyes, let the hands rest on the knees or the lap, and draw your attention to the breath. First, just taking a few rounds of breath in and out, gently through the nose, noticing where you're at today. Maybe it's the first time you've tuned in or deepened your breath this morning. With each successive inhale, begin to draw air a little deeper into the lungs. And with the exhales, begin to push the air up and out, starting to engage the diaphragm. Take a few deep rounds of breath this way. And when you're ready, activate Ujjayi Pranayama, yogic victory breath, by creating a constriction in the back of the throat. That sensation like you're fogging up a mirror with your breath, but with the mouth closed down. And over time, we work to soften our Ujjayi so that just you and someone right next to you could hear it. While you continue activating your Ujjayi, I'll read a bit here from Light on Yoga, a foundational text by BKS Iyengar that describes a lot of different asanas, postures, and how to practice them and their benefits. This is what he writes about Salamba Sarvangasana, shoulder stand. Alamba means a prop, a support, and sa means together with or accompanied by. So Salamba, therefore, means supported or propped up. Sarvanga, sarva meaning all, whole, entire, complete, and anga meaning limb or body, therefore means the entire body or the limbs. So in this pose, Salamba Sarvangasana, the whole body benefits from the exercise, hence the name. And he goes on to write about a lot of the physiological, neurological, and psycho-emotional benefits of this pose. And he concludes, it is no overstatement to say that if a person regularly practices Sarvangasana, he will feel new vigor and strength and will be happy and confident. New life will flow into him. His mind will be at peace, and he will feel the joy of life. After a long illness, particularly, the practice of this asana regularly twice a day brings back lost vitality. So that's where we're going today. Take one more full round of Ujjayi breath, in and out through the nose. And then open the eyes as we prepare to move. We'll start with a neck warm-up this morning. Bring the hands right behind the head without interlacing the fingers. Place them kind of at the base of the head, and then let the neck fall forward. Keep your shoulders right over your hips, and then let elbows come together, just gently using the weight of the hands to start to open through the back of the neck. Keep your breath deep here. And we'll find some opening and closing of the heart in this shape. With an inhale, lift the chest, open the elbows, gentle back bend. Exhale, tuck the chin tightly to the chest, but keep the spine tall. Moving on the breath. Inhale, lift the heart up, lift the gaze. Exhale, tuck the chin, close the elbows. A few more on your breath cycle. Feel free to linger anywhere that feels good. And the next time you lift up, let the arms go to the sides. And then with an inhale, lift the right arm high, right hand to left side of the head. And without push or force, let gravity drop that right ear toward the shoulder. From here, reach through your left fingers and play around with where you move that hand, pulling your left fingers further forward or backward, finding the sweet spot, feeling this through the side of the neck, and drawing breath to any tense or sticky spots. Option to turn the neck up if that feels okay, changing the stretch slightly. Take one more inhale here. Exhale, right hand to right side of the head, tilt your head up, and then we'll switch sides. Inhale, lift the left arm high, left hand to right side of the head, and then let gravity and the weight of your hand drop that left ear toward the shoulder. From here, reach through the right fingers, and then pull that hand further forward or backward in space, finding your edge here, letting the neck open up. Take one more full breath cycle here. And with your next exhale, let that go. Roll over the legs and find your tabletop pose. Always the option to slide that blanket under the knees if they're feeling sensitive. And from your tabletop, stack shoulders over wrists. Spread the fingers wide. Imagine someone pressing your palms down. Hips are right over knees here. With an inhale, drop the belly, lift the chest, Marjariasana, and hold here. So holding in our cow pose, keep pulling the belly up even as you arch the back. One more full breath cycle here. And take a deep inhale, press the floor away. Exhale, tuck the chin, round the back, and hold your cat pose. The more you tuck the chin, the more you'll open through the back of the neck. Really knit the lower ribs in, press through the palms, press the tops of the shins down. And now we'll move on the breath. Inhale, drop the belly, arch the back for cow. Exhale, tuck and round for cat. Take a few more rounds on your breath, keeping everything from shoulders and hips down, stationary, and just undulating through the spine and neck. Finish up whatever round you're on, and we'll meet back in a neutral tabletop, long spine. From here, take an inhale, extend the right leg back, and then plant the right foot in an angle, rock to your left side, right hand to hip. Option to kickstand that left foot off the mat for balance. Take an inhale, right arm up over the ear, and your gaze can come down toward the mat or up under the right armpit. From here, option to hover that right leg, drawing breath from right fingers to right heel. Really squeeze that right glute in if you're lifting. Take one more deep inhale here. Exhale, plant the right foot open through the right chest for star variation. One more inhale here. And on the exhale, come back to tabletop. Shake out the hips and shoulders. And then find your strong alignment. Inhale, left leg straight back. Press the sole of the foot away. And then plant that left foot at an angle. Roll to the right side, left hand to hip. Gaze can be at the mat or up over the armpit. Inhale, left arm high. Exhale, left arm overhead. And you can hold right here. Option to hover that left leg, drawing breath from left fingers to left foot. Make sure you're not holding the breath here. Take one more inhale. And on the exhale, back to tabletop, knees to the wide edge of the mat, and sink the hips back. Wide-legged Balasana, child's pose. In your child's pose, you can let the forearms relax, or you can tent up on the fingertips, making this active. Come back to your Ujjayi breath. Notice what's changed. And throughout our practice today, feel welcome to find child's pose at any time, especially if the breath grows choppy or shallow. With your next inhale, come up through hands and knees, tuck the toes, and send the hips back for our first down dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Begin to pedal out the heels, bending one knee and then the other. Lightly shake your neck, left and right, yes and no. And then let the heels begin to sink toward the mat as you straighten through the arms. Find your longest, strongest down dog shape. With your next inhale, roll forward to plank, and we'll hold here. Option to lower the knees. If you lower the knees, they're behind the hips here, building strength either way. If the knees are lifted, feel that long line from the back of the head all the way to the heels. Pull the sternum forward, push the heels back. One more inhale, building heat. Exhale, up and back, downward facing dog. With your next inhale, roll forward to plank. And on the exhale, lower knees, chest, chin. Ashtanga Namaskar. Press into the toes, draw the elbows back toward the ribs, and turn your gaze forward. With your next inhale, slide onto the belly, straighten the legs, and lift the kneecaps and palms. Classical cobra. Draw the shoulders down and back. Feel the whole back body engage. One more deep inhale here, and then plant the hands, press up through knees or plank to downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. One more round. With an inhale, roll forward to plank, and this time lower the knees. So we'll take a yoga push-up variation to engage the muscles right along the sides of the rib cage. This will help us build strength for shoulder stands. Cross the ankles and take an inhale, press the floor away. Exhale, yogic push-up, elbows to ribs, lower. Inhale, press back up, lift the chest. Exhale, elbows to ribs, lower. Inhale once more, press up. And exhale, lower. This time, inhale, press up, uncross the legs, and send the hips back. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Take 2 deep breath cycles here, relaxing the face and jaw. With your next inhale, gaze between the thumbs, and on the exhale, begin to tiptoe toward the hands. Slow and steady. Lift up from the hips, lift up behind the navel, and we'll meet in Uttanasana, forward fold. If the hamstrings are tight, you can walk the feet further apart. An option to clasp opposite elbows. Begin to sway left and right. Keep the head and neck relaxed. Keep a bit of engagement between the shoulder blades so they're not collapsing onto the ears. Draw the weight toward the toes. And the next time you rock through center, stay here. Let the arms go. And then take a deep bend in the knees. Press through all 4 corners of the feet. And we'll roll up, 1 vertebrae at a time. Head and shoulders will come last here. And we'll meet in Tadasana, mountain pose. When you find your Tadasana, reach down through the fingers, root down through the feet, and then lift up from the very top of your head. Find your longest, tallest spine. And then lift the kneecaps on the legs, feel the quads ignite. Tuck the tailbone and pull the belly in and up. We'll warm up the whole body with classical Surya Namaskar, sun salutes. And if you're newer to the classical version, you're welcome to add extra breaths. Just a note for classical sun salutes, our arms always come straight forward and straight down rather than out and up. With an inhale, Anjali Mudra. Exhale, shoulders down and back. Inhale, arms straight forward and up. Exhale, fold. Right foot back. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, up and back. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, forward to plank. Just a breath. Exhale, knees, chest, chin, elbows back. Inhale, forward for cobra, Bhujangasana. Exhale, up and back, downward facing dog. Left foot forward, inhale, low lunge. Exhale, step to the top and fold. Inhale to rise, roll the inner thighs together. Exhale, heart center. Second side, inhale to rise. Exhale, fold. Left foot back, inhale, low lunge. Exhale, up and back, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, forward to plank, press back through the heels. Exhale, knees, chest, chin, Ashtanga Namaskar. Inhale, forward for cobra, lift the kneecaps. Exhale, up and back, down dog. Right foot forward, inhale, low lunge. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach forward and up. And exhale, heart center. Second side. Inhale to rise. Exhale, fold. Right foot back. Inhale. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, forward. Balasana. Exhale, knees, chest, chin. Inhale, forward. Bhujangasana. Exhale, up and back. Left foot forward. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, fold. Inhale to rise. Reach the fingers high. Exhale, heart center. Last side. Inhale to rise. Exhale, fold. Left foot back. Inhale. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, forward to plank, Balasana. Exhale, Ashtanga Namaskar. Inhale for cobra, Bhujangasana. Exhale, up and back, down dog. Right foot forward. Inhale, find your lunge. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to rise. Exhale, heart center and release. Good effort. Come back to your mountain pose. Option to bring feet together, big toes touching here. And then reach down through the fingers. Lightly draw the shoulders back. Take 2 deep breaths here. Adding on with a round of modern Surya Namaskar B. With an inhale, bend the knees, sweep the fingers down, and lift the arms up. Utkatasana chair. We'll hold for a couple extra breaths here. If the buttocks splayed out, tuck the tailbone at the same time as you lift the chest. Roll the shoulders down and back. Make sure you can see your toes in front of your knees. One more inhale, sink the hips back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half lift, fingers to shins. Exhale, step back to plank. Inhale, rocking forward. Exhale, lower elbows to ribs. Untuck your toes. Inhale for modern cobra, hips on the mat here. Exhale, press up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg up and back. Exhale, step it through for warrior one. Plant the back heel. Inhale to rise, just a breath. Exhale, cartwheel the hands, step right back to plank, and find your flow, lowering halfway or to the belly. And then find cobra or up dog if you're ready. We'll meet back in downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg up and back. Exhale, step it through for warrior one. Plant the back foot. Inhale to rise, Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale, cartwheel the hands, step back to plank, and flow. We'll all meet back in downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. We'll take about 5 breaths here. Remember, you can always find tabletop or child's pose instead. If you're in down dog, send the heels toward the mat. Press through the center of the palms and pull the belly in and up. With your next inhale, gaze between the thumbs. And with the exhale, step or hop to your forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, half lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. Back to chair pose. Inhale, sink the hips back, lift the arms. And exhale, release. Shake that out, let that go. And then bring the hands to the hips. And take a big step back to face the long edge of your mat. Big toes slightly in here. For most of us, we need to be slightly pigeon-toed for the outer edges of the feet to be parallel. We're moving toward a fold. Inhale, chest up, shoulders back. Exhale, fold forward, lead with the heart. And then bring your hands down toward blocks or the mat. And if your hands do reach blocks or the mat, bring the palms right underneath the body, tops of fingers in line with tops of toes, and then bend your elbows for your yoga push-up arms. With each exhale, drawing top of the head toward the mat, maybe finding you can widen the stance between your feet slightly so the top of the head reaches the mat. And if you find that, pull up through the hips and behind the navel. Let the heels grow light. Really press through the palms so all the weight isn't on your head. A couple breaths here to explore Prasarita Padasana. And with your next inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, turn your right toes to the right and bend your right knee. We're moving to warrior two from the ground up. With an inhale, press through the feet, reach the arms wide. Exhale, bend that right knee deeply and turn your drishti to the right. See if you can soften through the shoulders, opening across the pelvis and reaching the fingers as wide as you can. Virabhadrasana 2. Roll that left hip back And roll that right hip back. With your next inhale, flip the front palm. Exhale, reverse. Right arm up over the ear and left arm down the back leg. So we're finding a side bend here rather than a back bend. Urdhva Virabhadrasana. To move toward the arm bind, reach your left arm behind your back and walk your fingers toward the inner right thigh. With your next inhale, back to warrior two. Exhale, cartwheel the hands, frame the front foot, and step up and back to three-legged dog. From there, bend the knees, stack the hips, scorpion dog. Gaze under the left armpit and kick that right heel toward the buttocks. With an inhale, straighten the right leg. Exhale, downward facing dog. You can hold here or move through a flow with me. If you're flowing, inhale to plank. Exhale, lower, chaturanga, or to the belly. Inhale for cobra or urdhva mukha svanasana. Exhale, up and back, adho mukha svanasana. Inhale, gaze between the thumbs. Exhale, step or hop, Uttanasana, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to rise, Urdhva Hastasana. And exhale, release. We'll take that all second side. Hands back to hips. Take a big step back to face the long edge. Option to interlace the hands behind the back this time for our fold. With an inhale, chest up, shoulders back. Exhale, fold forward. And if the hands are clasped, pull the fists up and over the head to help draw the weight to the toes. Option to lower one shoulder toward the mat and then the other. And keep the breath deep, even as you compress the abdomen. If you have the arm clasp, option to rise with the arms bound. With an inhale, bend the knees and stand all the way up. And exhale, let the arms go. We'll fold back once more, hands to hips. Inhale, chest up. And exhale, fold. If tripod headstand is in your practice, option to bring palms to the mat, crown of the head to the mat, elbows 90 degrees, drawing in, and maybe growing light in the heels, or maybe lifting the feet all the way up. If you find flight here, really engage the leg muscles, push up through balls and heels of the feet, roll your inner thighs together, and breathe. Gaze is soft and steady. A couple more breaths to explore your variation. And if you did find Salamba Shirshasana, headstand, eventually lowering with control and meeting us back in our wide-legged forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, left toes to the left and bend the left knee. We're preparing to rise, Virabhadrasana 2. With an inhale, rise up, reach the arms wide. Exhale, drishti to the left. Let the hips drop as you lift up through the spine. And breathe. Softening shoulders away from ears. Roll that right hip back. With your next inhale, flip the left palm. Exhale, reverse, Urdhva Virabhadrasana. Again, finding a side bend here rather than a back bend. An option to drape that right arm behind the back, walking fingers toward inner left thigh for an arm bind. With your next inhale, back to warrior two. Exhale, cartwheel the hands, frame your front foot, and step back to three-legged dog. Lift that left leg high, and then bend the knee, stack the hips for scorpion dog. Gaze to the right, kick the right buttocks. And with an inhale, left leg straight back. Exhale, down dog. We're all finding child's pose. Option to find a flow first on your breath. Choose what you need. And if you did find a flow, meeting us back in down dog. Take an inhale, press the floor away. Exhale, knees to the mat, legs together, and let the arms reach back for traditional Balasana, child's pose. Let the shoulders and abdomen relax. And come back to your Ujjayi breath. You're welcome to stay longer if you like. When you're ready, bring the palms forward and then tuck the toes, send the hips up and back. We'll meet in downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. From your down dog shape, inhale, right leg up and back, and hold here. Ekapada Adho Mukha Svanasana. Push that left heel to the mat as you lift that right heel high, maybe feeling gaze turn all the way up toward your back foot. One more inhale. Exhale, step it through for low lunge. Lower that back knee, and with an inhale, rise. Reach the arms high. Always the option to bring palms to that front thigh instead. Maybe untucking the back toes, pressing the top of the foot to the mat. Notice if the rib cage splayed out, draw it in and up. Take one more inhale here. Exhale, left palm down, right hand to right thigh. Inhale, pull the heart forward. Exhale, twist up and open to the right. Option to pop up on those back toes, back legs straight and strong. An option to sweep the right arm high. Parivrtta Parsvakonasana, revolved side angle. Draw that right hip in and keep letting the hips lower toward the mat. Take one more inhale here. Exhale, plant the right palm, step back to downward facing dog. Pedal out the heels here for a couple of breaths. Find your long down dog shape. With your next inhale, left leg up and back, and hold here. Hips are square. Push that right heel down as you send the left foot high. Keep the back of the neck relaxed, building strength. One more inhale. Exhale, knee to nose, step through for low lunge. Lower that right knee, and with an inhale, rise. Reach the arms high, or bring the hands to the left thigh. Option to untuck the back toes here, and then pull the belly in and up. Roll the shoulders down and back. Anjalayasana. Take one more deep inhale here. Exhale, right palm to the mat, left hand to thigh. With an inhale, pull the chest forward. Exhale, twist up and open to the left. Ideally, finding the same shape you took on the first side, maybe popping up on those back toes. An option to lift the left arm high, stacking shoulders. Keep lowering into the hips as you pull the sternum forward. Parivrita Parsva Konasana. Take one more deep inhale here. Exhale, plant the hand and step back to downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Take 2 deep rounds of breath here. And with your next exhale, bend the knees and begin to walk the hands back to the feet for a forward fold at the back of the mat, Uttanasana. Walk the feet hips distance apart and then slide the right hand under the front of the right foot, toes to wrist. You can bend the knees here if you need. Slide the left hand under the left foot for Hasta, padasana, hand to foot pose. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, belly to thighs. Really press toes into the wrist, drawing the weight forward. Gently rock the neck back and forth. With your next inhale, half lift, slide the hands out, and then bear crawl your way back to downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Option for one more flow here before we move to a seat. If you're flowing, go ahead on your breath. And from our down dog shape, take an inhale, press through the palms. And on the exhale, lower to the knees and slide the legs to one side to find a seat on your mat. When you find your seat, option to slide that blanket, if you have one, right under the back of your sits bones, tilting your pelvis forward. And otherwise, you can use your hand to pull the flesh out from underneath you. Find your tall seat, and then bring the hands outside the hips here. Take an inhale, press through the palms, lift the chest up. Exhale, shoulders down and back, and engage the whole muscular body. Dandasana, staff pose. Flex the toes toward the stomach. Lift the kneecaps on the legs. Maybe the heels begin to hover. You can stay right here. For a little more core challenge, option to reach this arm straight forward, but without shifting the shoulders forward. Feeling all the muscles in the belly and back grow strong. Take one more inhale here. And on the exhale, release. Let that go. And then bend your right knee, right sole of the foot to the inner left thigh. So you can stay right here. We're moving toward a fold. If you have the space and the ankle flexibility, option to bring that right heel toward the left thigh crease for sort of a half lotus leg here, turning sole of the foot up. If you feel any pain in that right knee, backing out here. Choosing your version as we move toward a fold. With an inhale, first lift the arms and then twist slightly to the left, squaring the chest over the left leg. One more inhale. Exhale, fold forward, lead with the heart, and then let the hands release to the mat, the leg or foot. Take an inhale, half lift, flat back, and exhale, fold. Find your edge here. Keep the breath deep. And make sure shoulders don't scrunch up to ears. Roll them down and back. Janu Shirshasana variation, head to knee pose. With your next inhale, rise all the way up. And exhale, release. Unhook that right foot, extend the leg long, and shake it out. We'll take that on the second side, shoulders over hips. Left sole of the foot, either to the inner right thigh, or maybe bringing that left heel to the right hip crease as you open the left hip down and out. Come back to sit tall and flex your right toes. With an inhale, arms up, and then first twist slightly to the right. One more inhale for length, and on the exhale, fold forward. Focus on bringing the top of your head toward the toes, and use your exhales to deepen the fold by pulling the belly in and up. Relaxing shoulders away from ears, and breathe. With your next inhale, reach the arms back up. Exhale, release, and unhook that left leg. Extend both legs long and shake them out. We're making our way toward the back for Salamba Sarvangasana, our shoulder stand work. So I'll give a quick demo here first, especially for those who are newer to shoulder stand. And the reason we use a blanket is it decreases the angle, the pressure put on our neck here. So I encourage you to use your blanket if you have one today. And then place the blanket so the top edge of the blanket just comes to the top edge of your shoulders. You want your head and neck off the mat. From here, arms alongside the body. You can bend the knees and plant the feet. And so we'll move through all four parts of the shoulder stand sequence. I'll first just demo it quickly through each part. Starting with Halasana, Plow Pose. With an inhale, use a bit of momentum to lift the legs up and over the head. Bring your hands to the lower back right away, and then walk your elbows in. Maybe toes touch the mat, maybe legs hover. Either way is okay. Throughout this whole set, resist the urge to turn the neck left or right. After we hold Plow Pose, preparing to bring our heart above our head, keeping hands on lower back, we'll lift the legs up and walk the elbows together. If this is too intense, you can sink the hips to the hands, making a 45-degree angle. Otherwise, striving to bring hips on top of shoulders. Press through the balls and the heels of the feet and engage all the leg muscles. We'll hold here for 10 or 20 breaths, and then we'll return back to Plow Pose. If toes touch the ground, walking feet away from the head. And after holding here, we'll find Karnakidasana, knees to forehead or knees outside the ears, tucking yourself up and closing off sound. Before coming out, we'll straighten the legs, pull the thighs to the belly, and with control, lower to the mat. And eventually push the legs straight forward and down. So that's where we're going. If you think you would not like to do shoulder stand, or if you have a neck or spinal injury, you could take legs up the wall instead, simply laying flat, legs straight up. Otherwise, lying down on your blanket, and I'll talk us through those parts. Beginning with Plow Pose, arms alongside the body. Inhale, legs up and over, hands to the lower back. And then walk those elbows and shoulders in. We'll hold here, opening through the back of the neck, the tops of the shoulders. Keep your breath deep. And let the chin stay relaxed here. Let the sternum lift to the chin, but keep the face and chin relaxed. Halasana. And you're welcome to stay right here and skip the next 3 steps of our Salamba Sarvangasana sequence. If you'd like to move on with me, when you're ready, hands to the lower back, begin to lift the legs high, keep walking shoulders and elbows together. Just like in mountain pose, the whole body is engaged here. Taking a few breaths to settle into your Salamba Sarvangasana shape. And you can stay right here. If you're feeling very stable, option to try lowering the right leg back to your plow shape, keeping the left leg high. And then lift that right leg back up, lowering left leg. You can try that a couple times if you like. Really keep drawing legs together and pushing up through the bottom of the feet. Taking at least a few more deep breaths in your inversion shape. And you're welcome to stay longer. When you're ready to move on, we'll come back to plow. Keep the hands on the lower back and release the legs over the head. Maybe finding a bit more depth now that we're a bit more open. If you feel very comfortable and stable, option to interlace the palms, pull the fists away from the buttocks. Make sure not to twist your neck left and right. If the toes are on the mat, you can walk the feet away from the head, bringing hips a little closer to the top of shoulders. A couple more deep breaths in Halasana. For the final step, bring the hands back to the lower back. Bend the knees toward the forehead for Karnakidasana. You can stay right here. If you have the space, slide the knees outside the ears. Let the tops of the feet come to the mat. Maybe tops of shins come to the mat. It's a nice shape to shut down the eyes. Really go inward. When you're ready to come out, straighten the legs, draw the thighs to the belly, and with control, roll down one vertebrae at a time. Eventually, legs straight up, arms alongside the body, and then point the toes, press the feet down and away from you, and come all the way to the mat. And if you found legs up the wall instead, meeting us on the back here, and we'll all slide that blanket out from underneath us. Finding fish pose for our counter pose. Draw the legs together, point the toes, and then prop up on the forearms, fingers just behind the buttocks here. So your elbows will be right under your shoulders or maybe a little forward of your shoulders. With an inhale, press through forearms and palms, feel the sternum lift. Exhale, let the head and neck release if that feels okay. Imagine a string lifting up from your sternum as you keep rolling your shoulders down and back. Legs are active and breathe. Matsyasana. Before coming out, tuck the chin strongly and then lower all the way to the back. Nicely done. Let that go. Bend the knees. Plant the feet wide, the wide edges of the mat. And then bring one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly. Let the knees begin to fall to left, through center, to the right. Take that a couple of times each side. Using these movements to start to cool down and slow down the breath. The next time you come through center, hold here, and then send the soles of the feet toward the ceiling for Ananda Balasana, happy baby. Draw the ankles on top of the knees. Let the knees sink toward the armpits. And either find stillness or straighten through one leg and then the other, rocking and rolling. Option to shut down the eyes here. really going inward. Continue to lengthen, cool down the breath, using your Ujjayi to calm the nervous system, to calm the mind. The last few rounds of breath, option to catch the big toes with the fingers and open through both legs for a nice lower back release. Eventually, rebending knees, bringing the feet back to the mat. We're making our way towards Shavasana, our final rest. So I'll leave space here if there's one more asana pose that's calling to you, or if you're ready to lay down for your final rest, you can go there now. No rush or urgency, taking your time. And when you do find your final resting shape, if you have a blanket today, I'll invite you to roll it up under the knees. We did a lot of work with the back body today. So rolling the blanket up this way can be a nice release through the lower back in our Shavasana shape. Take the next 5 or so rounds of your breath to find any props or clothing you'd like and to make your way to the back. And as you settle in on the back body, let the legs extend long. Let the feet splay out to the sides. Arms alongside the body. And palms up can help to tuck the shoulders underneath the back, but always the option to flip the palms down for less of a receiving quality. When your whole body's on the mat, shut down the eyes. And we'll take one round of lion's breath together, inhaling through the nose, and on the exhale, sticking out the tongue, loudly expelling all the air. Preparing to inhale here. Good. And keeping eyes shut down, let your Ujjayi breath go. Let the breath grow shallow. Feel the belly relax. Feel the back of the throat relax. Nowhere else to be, nothing else to do, but hold this shape of integration for your practice of asana and pranayama, postures and breath control. Settling into that feeling of release, relief, ease that comes after effort. Beginning to disconnect from physical sensations in the space around you, and letting go of my voice and my cues. I'll chant us into Shavasana with 3 rounds of Om, the universal sound of nature. With each round, let my voice grow softer, more distant, as you let your physical body sink into the mat and your energetic body grow light. Use your next inhale to deepen the breath, enjoying the sensation of coming back to your body, maybe feeling more grounded, more energized or calm. Eventually finding tiny movements in fingers and toes, gently rolling the neck back and forth, up and down. When you're ready for movement, reach the arms overhead and find a full body stretch. Reinvigorate from fingers to toes. And in your own time, draw in the knees and find the fetal shape on the right side body, giving your nadi energy channels a chance to adjust to bring head back above heart. No rush or urgency. When you're ready to rise, press your way up to a seat and come back to sitting tall as we began our practice. Option to slide that blanket under the sits bones. And if you found half lotus at the beginning of practice, finding half lotus with the opposite leg, and then lightly roll the shoulders down and back, coming to sit tall. Thank you for joining in this all levels Vinyasa class. The light within me honors and respects the light within each of you. Thank you. Mil gracias. I hope you enjoyed this on-demand class. If you'd like to make a donation to support donation-based yoga, you can donate by PayPal and Venmo to Freelancer PhD, FREELANCER PhD. In either way, my classes are open and accessible to all, so feel welcome to tune back to my YouTube channel and to my live Zoom classes.